Hello everybody and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearances of the Week. This is Wednesday, November 3rd, 2021. We'll be giving you all the first appearances hidden in your comic shops today. Now this week we have a pretty big week for you guys. I think we only have 3 first appearances, but 13 honorable mentions, so 16 titles in all to go through. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearances of the week ending November 5th, 2021. First up from DC Comics, Justice League Incarnate number 1. This features the first appearance of Dr. Multiverse and the first appearance of a villain from Dr. Multiverse's reality. Now this is a new title for DC Comics, Justice League Incarnate, and this is a new character within this new title series. It all depends on what DC does with this character and with this series. We really don't know what they have planned going forward, and if they do something in the big screen or small screen with this particular character, or with a new Justice League feature film or TV show or streaming series, this may be important, but we think this is probably one you can put on your B-list for now. Keep an eye on it, but you can wait on this one. Next up from DC Black Label, Batman Reptilian number 5. This features a possible first appearance of Reptilian's mother. Now this is a possible first appearance, and it's the possible first appearance of Reptilian's mother. We really think this is probably one you can put on your B-list. It all depends on how important that character will be in future titles, or in the future of the Batman universe. We really don't think it's going to be that big a deal. That's our opinion. If you want to spec on it, do so. Otherwise, put this one on your B-list. And finally, for Marvel Comics, Death of Doctor Strange Avengers number 1. This features the first appearance of a mythical monster described as being similar to the Juggernaut. Now, this is the first appearance of a new character in a Marvel title, the Death of Doctor Strange series, so we think this one here is probably worth picking up and adding to your collection. Slightly speculative, but for the cover price, first appearance of a new character in a Marvel title, we don't think you can go wrong with this one. Pick this one here up. And now for the honorable mentions. From Scout Comics, Ranger Stranger number 1. Ranger Stranger is a gallows comedy set in a majestic Hackenneck National Park, a vast Bob Rosen world of woods and waters for the adventurous camper or hiker to enjoy. Unfortunately, everything from the wildflowers to the homicidal deer to the park official want to murder you. Now this is one we think sounds very interesting and very translatable to TV or film. Scout Comics has had some of their titles pulled over to TV or film, and if this is a good comedy series, we think this one here has potential. This here is worth specking on. Pick this one here up. Next from Archie Comics, Chilling Adventures in Sorcery number 1. Madam Satan is our tour guide into this horrific world exploring the underbelly of Riverdale and its surrounding areas. Madam Satan is trying to escape hell. She goes through the circles of hell in reverse. Along the way, she meets lost and tortured souls who tell their stories, like that of Archie Andrews, who accepted a seemingly normal job as a nighttime security guard at Riverdale's local pizzeria and children's mascot entertainment venue, only to learn that the venue harbors a deep, dark, robotic monster's secret. And then there's Jughead Jones, a teen who never met a food he didn't like until now. What is that eerie noise coming from the kitchen? All that plus more bonus frightful content sure to delight all Archie horror fans. Now this is one we do think you should pick up and add to your collection. All the Archie horror titles are definitely highly collected and highly sought after later on. This is one we do think is worth adding. Pick this one here up. Next from Image Comics, The Magic Order 2 number 1. A magical turf war like you've never seen before. The London chapter of the Magic Order has entered the scene, and these tough Guy Ritchie-style gangsters have a problem with the Eastern European warlocks moving into their territory. Can new leader Cordelia Moonstone keep the peace? Now, the Magic Order is a popular series amongst fans, and this is the premiere issue of the Magic Order 2. This one here may be worth picking up and specking on. The Magic Order has already been out, and that series is highly collected. This one here may be worth picking up for the cover price. Put this one on your B-list if you can't get them all, otherwise pick this one up. Next from Aftershock Comics, Heathens number 1. When evil men and women escape from the depths of eternal abyss, the pirate queen Lady She is sent to retrieve them. But when one of history's most notorious killers breaks free, even she needs help. Enter the Heathens. She, Lucky Luciano, Bumpy Johnson, Sophie the Golden Hand, and Billy the Kid. From hell they came to mete out justice as dark as their own tormented souls. Now this one here may be worth specking on. Aftershock Comics has had some of their titles translated to TV or film, and this one here sounds like it has potential just because of the characters involved. This may be worth specking on. If you want to spec on it, pick it up. Otherwise, put this one on your B-list, but keep an eye on it. Next from Image Comics, A Thing Called Truth number 1. A workaholic scientist who wants to save the world and a woman who fears nothing but discovering her own destiny find themselves mixed up in a chaotic, on-the-road adventure through Europe. Will they manage to find a middle ground between their opposing ways of life, or at least for long enough to complete their mission? And could this trip lead to an unexpected romance? This one here sounds like it can lend itself very well to TV or film. It almost sounds like it's been written for a small screen or a big screen project. We think this one here is worth picking up for the cover price. Also from Aftershock Comics, After Dark #1. Tales from the Crypt meets the Twilight Zone. 4 tales of horror, lost souls, and things that go bump in the night. Now, some of these horror titles have been picked up for streaming series. The Ice Cream Man, for example. So this one here, maybe we're specking on. This is definitely a speculative bet if you want to pick this one up. Some of these horror titles, though, have received a lot more attention lately than they may have in the past. And this is from Aftershock Comics. They have had some of their titles picked up. So this one here, maybe we're specking on. Pick it up if you can. Otherwise, put it on your B list. Next from Vault Comics, The Rush #1. In the Yukon Territory, there's a frozen frontier bloodied and bruised by the last great gold rush. But in the lawless waste to the north, something whispers in the hindbrains of men, drawing them to a blighted valley where giant spider tracks mark the snow and impossible guns roar in the night. Now, stumbling towards its haunted forest comes a woman gripped not by greed, but the snarling rage of a mother in search of her child. Now this one here, maybe we're specking on. It sounds like a very interesting story. You know, this comes out today, so we haven't picked this up and read it yet. But the premise or the solicitation here sounds very interesting. This is a speculative bet if you want to pick this one up, but you can put this one on your B list for now. Next from Image Comics, Newburn #1. Easton Newburn is a private detective without loyalties, investigating conflicts between rival crime factions while collecting enemies along the way. Now this is kind of a crime noir. This one here, maybe we're specking on. Some of these crime stories have been picked up. Image has had a lot of their comics picked up in the past for TV or film or streaming series. So this maybe we're specking on, but this is definitely a speculative bet. Give this one here some consideration, but you can put on your B list if you can't get them all. Next from AWA Upshot, Knighted #1. Bob Ryder is a hapless bureaucrat whose bad luck streak comes to a crescendo when he accidentally kills the city's masked vigilante, the Knight. Now Bob is forced to take on the mantle of the legendary hero before the city descends into chaos. Now this one here sounds like it can lend itself very well to TV or film, and this sounds like a great story. AWA Upshot has had a lot of attention on their titles recently, and some of these have been optioned for TV or film. This one here sounds like a great story for a streaming series, or like I said, a small screen project. This one here is worth specking on. Pick this one here up. Next from Bad Idea, Refuse, and The Last Resorts #1. Now this is an 88-page one-shot featuring 2 different stories. Refuse is about a woman who awakens on an alien planet with no memory of her previous existence. And Last Resorts, after a successful vacation, a man who sat through a timeshare vacation for a trip to anywhere in the galaxy decides to do it again only to find the presenter is a clone of himself. Now this is a Bad Idea title. You guys know by now, Bad Idea has a very limited distribution and low print runs for their titles. That's probably why this might be worth picking up and specking on. But it really all depends on how this goes forward. But Bad Idea does have their foot in Hollywood. A lot of their titles have been optioned, and they have gotten a lot of attention from Hollywood execs. So this one here may be worth picking up and specking on. We think you should add this one here to your collection. From DC Comics, Dark Knights of Steel #1. Now this is a 12-issue series featuring characters from the DC Universe in a medieval setting. This features the introduction of the Kingdom of Storms. Now this one here, it sounds like it could be very interesting. We really don't know how collectible or important this will be in the future. This one here is probably one you could put on your B list. If you wanted to pick it up for the story itself, go ahead and do so. But as far as adding it to your collection for investment purposes, we think this is a B list item. From DC Comics, Human Target #1. This is a 12-issue detective noir series featuring Christopher Chance, who debuted in Action Comics 419 back in 1972. Now, this one here, once again, maybe we're specking on, but they can develop this one here definitely into a streaming series or a small screen project. So this one maybe we're specking on for the cover price. If you can't get them all, put this one on your B list, but keep an eye on this one. And finally from DC Comics, My Bad #1. This is a superhero spoof comic set in Gravel City, where a supervillain, Emperor King, is devising a sadistic death trap for his archenemy, the Accelerator. Now this is one, once again, we don't really know how important this will be going forward. This is one you could probably skip, put this one on your B list, keep an eye on it, but we think you can pass on this one. So there you have the 16 titles that we have for you guys this week. Only 3 first appearances, but 13 honorable mentions, and there's some really good titles in there to go through. So hopefully you guys can add some of those to your collection. Please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.